You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We do not have any new callers, but we got Mr. Wake and Bake. What's going on?
What up, Pack Daddy? This is Bruce, just turned 49 years old.
Attaboy.
Body's broken down.
Yes.
But I'm down to some Packers, but today I want to ask you about smoking some food, man.
Let's do it.
So, there's a little bit of a debate.
In the land.
I have one buddy who smokes at a longer time frame at 225.
Mm-hmm.
Brisket, regardless of what it is, doesn't matter. 225 is the temp. And I have another buddy who does a quicker smoke, both pellet, so not talking about fire, just pellet smoker. And the other guy does it at 260. You still do the wrapping, you still do everything, still kind of the same time frame in terms of percentages of time at one temperature, taking it out, wrapping it, etc. But what is your go-to time frame in terms of smoking? I've started leaning towards the 260 in the shorter time frame just because of time constraints. But I made some ribs, man, at 260 for 6 hours. You do the spray. I've got a little bit. I use some IPA beer with some apple cider vinegar, and I use chile ancho and espresso rub on there. Homemade barbecue sauce that I put on there later. But what is your take, man, on smoking? Is it low temp, longer time, or higher temp, shorter time? What is your experience with that? Want to hear it, bro. Have a good day. Go, Pack, go. Also, Elvian gonna cook, man? I think so. Elvian looking good. We need him to step up because that D-line seems like all of a sudden has become not a hindrance, but more of a trouble spot than the cornerback group, which is surprisingly doing well, man. So, what's your call, bro? Tell me. Let me know. Take care.
Yeah, I mean, if there's somebody you're putting your money on to take a big step, I'm not sure who else it would be other than Van Ness, just based on training camp. I don't know who would be another contender. So fingers crossed that it'll translate to the regular season. As far as smoking, I know some people do higher temp. Usually depends on the cut of meat, like ribs, like you're saying. Or I've heard some people talk about like in a drum smoker, you can do it higher, or in a like in a legit wood-burning smoker. I know I had a little convo with AI. This was several AI iterations ago, so I should probably circle back around with some of the smarter, less stupid ones and have that conversation again, because I can't wrap my head around why. Because I guess I've kind of broke it down into just components. And at the end of the day, with pretty much anything smoking related, time is going to be an element because you have to break down those fibers. Now, ribs, for some people, you want a little bite, you want a little texture on it, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I mean, higher temps, the only thing I could kind of think is, and I've had this happen a few times. So, for example, if you break it down into a couple components, like with a pork butt, if you crank that up, you might get a harder bark, a deeper smoke, or whatever the case may be on the outside. Then when you get it to reach that point that you want, you can wrap it and work on sort of the fibers breaking down. But I would still want to pull it. So I would only do that for like the smoking phase. I would pull it. I mean, you could leave it in there, but I pull it and put it in the oven at a very low temp. When I go in the oven, it's 190 degrees. This is another AI thing where that's the temperature, like the lowest temperature where you start to break down the fibers. But I'm not trying to really cook it anymore. I'm not trying to raise the temperature. I'm not trying to do any of that. So I guess my take on this, and there's going to be probably more to it than this, but with everything, there's a smoking phase and there's a holding phase. Smoke is get as much of that smoke wood flavor on the meat as you possibly can, get a nice dark color on it, all that kind of stuff. After that, once you have that, all you're doing is holding. Even if the meat's not quite, you could hit that temperature at 160, whatever. I'm pulling it, popping it in the oven at 190. You can do 200, 210, 225, whatever you want to do. I don't care. But at that point, I want to get it to that point where it starts to break down the collagen and all that kind of stuff. So it'll bring it up to 190, and then it just sits there. And as it sits at 190 degrees, it continues to break down those things. But all the flavor's already on it. All that stuff's already done. That should basically apply to anything. If you're cooking all the way through without wrapping, you probably have to be a little bit more careful. Like you said with the spritzing, if you're doing especially higher temperatures, you're going to have to spritz it to keep it from drying out, but I would still be worried about losing some juiciness on the inside and all that kind of stuff if the temperature's too high. So yeah, that's kind of how I break. I mean, it could be brisket, ribs, pork butt, pork belly, any of that. It's get the smoke on it and then hold it until it's tender to where you want it to be, and then it's done. And that's it. That's the whole thing. So I will do a circle back on the whole higher temperature thing because I do hear a ton of that. And again, I do have a drum smoker now, so I'm curious as to why some people seem to think. The only thing I can think, especially with the wood burners, is the amount of airflow in those things somehow plays a factor in that. There's a massive amount of airflow, but I can't really guess beyond that. But if you like them, experimenting is part of the fun. I've not really had a ton of success with higher temp when I've tried it, or usually it ends up just being accidental. But again, once I see it where it looks good, I'm pulling it. So it doesn't really matter. It could be 225, 260, whatever. Sometimes it sneaks up to around 300 and you panic and whatever, but it doesn't matter. As long as it gets the color you want, pull it, hold it, wait till it's the proper tenderness, and then friggin' eat it.
Hey, Ryan, Steve up in Alaska.
What's up?
Just got back into town from doing the Fairbanks trip, getting supplies and all that good stuff, and I was listening to The Herd, which Danny Parkins is running right now, I guess, this whole week, and he did his over-unders for everybody for the season. This guy is just a crackpot.
Yeah.
He assumes because the Bears changed so much and they've upgraded so much and they got all these new coaches and Caleb Williams is in year 2 that they're going to win more than 10 games. They're just going to be this great team.
Yeah.
Because all this change and all this new. But the Packers, who changed some stuff last year and won 11 games, this year, you know what? They're not so good. We had injuries at that quarterback position and wide receivers that were struggling. We get a better wide receiver and our quarterback's healthy, but I don't think they're so good.
No.
We're not even going to talk about the fact that we have an awesome running game. They're not so good. I guess they did a little improvement in the secondary, but they have no pass rush. They need pass rush. They don't have any. I believe our pass rush was solid last year.
It was, actually.
And so he doesn't think we can win 8 games.
Okay.
And it's just, how much stupid bias can you put into...
Yeah, it's obviously a very unbiased take to come to that conclusion. Even if the pass rush isn't good, it's the same pass rush as last year. So you have to demonstrate how they got worse. You can't just say, well, I don't like this about their team. I don't give a crap what you like or don't like. If they're the same team as last year, I mean, unless you can demonstrate that it's some kind of a fluke, and it's different if you win like 15 games and you say, I think they're going to win 11, well, that's normal regression. But if you are a playoff team that wins in and around 10, you're going to have some explaining to do to get down to 8, and you can't just say, well, last year I don't think they were actually that good, even though all the problems didn't seem to be a problem, but I'm just going to pretend that it's a problem. I don't know, man. The guy's a freaking goofball. I mean, he's built for national television, I guess, just to be a raving lunatic idiot.
anything that you do. And he's backing it all on the fact that last year he won 65% of his bets, which, hey, that's great. That's hard to do.
55%? That's not that much, considering some games are kind of a gimme. I don't think that's a very good bet. And also, I don't want to know what you did when it comes to the NFL. I want to know your bets when it comes to the NFC North, because I bet it's significantly below 50%. I bet this is a guy that bet on the Bears a lot, who lost a lot, and bet against the Packers, who won a lot. So that would be my assumption, but I'll have to dig into that.
But you also missed on 35%, and I bet you your bias cost you to miss on some of those.
Or is it 65,
and
you're
let's
saying?
be honest, there's a certain amount of luck that comes into that. The guy's just, what a turd. What a turd to even have to listen to. It's gonna be tough having to hear him talk and have like a real forum where he can just bear pronounce over and over again. And get this, he's already said on an earlier show in the week that if Caleb Williams can't make it and doesn't prove to be good, he's going to have to start believing in curses and that the Bears are cursed. But yet, it's Caleb Williams' second year, and so they're going to be great, and they're going to win more than 10 games and be in the playoffs. And, the Packers, they're going to be garbage, and Minnesota is going to be garbage. They're probably going to only win like 5 games. It's crazy. It's just crazy. But I'm going to get this vehicle unloaded. I just had a call and rant on that because I just heard it, and I was just like, what the hell? All right, go Pack. Let's look forward to the season, and let's just get on with it, man. Preseason is on us.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, as far as curses, you don't need to believe in a curse. I mean, statistically unlikely for sure at this stage to still be this bad at it, but I can look directly at this situation and see incompetence. You never had a meeting with Jaden Daniels, not one time, and the guy's a dominant football player. That's negligence and incompetence. I'm so sorry to tell you that. The fact that you drafted a guy who has the exact same issues that Justin Fields had, but you don't care because you're not actually a scout, Ryan Poles. You're just going based off the hype. This is one of the greatest he's a can't-miss prospect, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. That's absolutely stupid. But that's what they did. They were stupid on purpose, and they're reaping the benefits of that. So congratulations. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hi, Ryan. It's Randy from Minnesota.
Hi.
Just getting ready for the kickoff of the season here, which reminded me of something I just read today from a writer named Joe Sloan. He's a Detroit writer, about the most overpaid quarterback in our division. Well, of course, it's Jordan Love.
Of course,
How
yeah.
He hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything. He's never played at a MVP level.
Okay, first of all, wrong on all accounts. He has proven something. He has played at an MVP level. He didn't win MVP, but he has played at an MVP level. We haven't seen very much, but what we did see was quite good, and then he got hurt. You can still make the case on overpaid if you want, although I don't think you really can because he got paid exactly what he was expected to get paid, what anybody else in that situation, what any other team would have paid. But sure, you can call it overpaid if you want to. This is just a classic case of hammering something while you still can, right? You know there's a good chance that this is going to be a bad take in the future, but today I can make the point and I can hammer it, so I'm going to do it. It would be kind of like what I do with Caleb and Justin Fields, except for the fact that I kind of think that it's going to hold up. But you can call them overpaid for now, and you'll get away with it, and it's a great little dig, and congratulations.
Sorry about that. There goes Killer. MVP level like Goff, and that he's the most overpaid quarterback in our division. Well, no kidding, knucklehead. The other two are rookies.
Right. Well, that's the other thing.
And for him to say that...
Yeah, two guys... One guy has had some pretty good success for Detroit. Two guys are paid pennies. I mean, if you asked me who's the most overpaid, I might have to go Jordan. Could also be Caleb at this point, even with what he's getting paid. But I don't know, it's a stupid thing.
Club has never played at that level, MVP level, or a really good QB level. It's just shows how much we're in their heads right now.
Yeah.
And I think they're afraid of us.
100%.
I really do. And
they're also getting just bitter and freaking petty about everything. You know, I mean, they don't like, you know, all for different reasons. Bears fans are all up in their feelings, obviously, about this Caleb Williams things, and he's not treated fairly, and this isn't fair, and it's not nice, and this shouldn't be a blah 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 blah. Again, Vikings fans are relatively quiet, but you know, they're too going to be in a similar boat as far as their opinions toward Jordan Love. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time. Wait for J.J. McCarthy to have like a good game, and it's going to be, we don't get enough attention, whatever. Lions also probably pretty self-conscious about their quarterback. It's the one thing that they're getting dinged for. Not that he's a bad quarterback, but it's going to be a Kirk Cousins situation where it's like, is he good enough to actually get him over the hump? I don't know. They're not winning anything. Why are they not winning anything? It's because of the quarterback, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is the other three teams hate the Packers so much because of the success that they've had in the past, and as long as they're not the top dog, they're going to keep kicking the living crap out of them. So the Packers just got to get in there, especially week 1, and just kick them right in the freaking teeth and set things right with the universe.
It's just not a homer attitude. Everything he wrote in that article is just trash. He didn't bring up the fact that he was injured last year. He didn't bring up the fact that he had a stint of good games when he was healthy. And it's just ridiculous. Anyway, that was my little rant. I'm glad we're in the Lions' head. I know one thing, we're going to be in the win column that first game of the season because of these clowns.
Yep.
And that's all I got. Go Pack, go. Bye.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's all just running their mouths, but at the same time, we're getting very close to put up or shut up time. Look, the Lions are a good team, so I'm not going to go out and say I guarantee a week 1 win or anything like that, but with a healthy Jordan Love, hopefully this offensive line can do a better job with the run blocking side of things because Josh Jacobs is just ready to put a hurting on the entire NFL. Matthew Golden seems to be a revelation. If those things can hold up, if we can have a solid run game and a healthy Jordan and the tight ends healthy and productive and Golden being a revelation in this whole thing, on top of the defense continuing to look like it has been, which is incredible with Rashawn looking good, Lucas Van Ness looking unstoppable, assuming Hobbs is healthy by week 1, I mean, again, knock on wood, fingers crossed, all that. But, yeah, things are looking up, and I'm feeling good about the Packers being a good team. I can't guarantee any one single game, but, I mean, they are looking and shaping up to be a legitimate contender like the rest of the legitimate contenders.
Hey, Ryan, this is Aaron. I just wanted to give a quick call about camp so far in my set. But first, so I just listened to your podcast on the morning of Friday, whatever day is, August 1st. And that song that you had at the end of it, like, whatever you put in there for the prompt, it sounded exactly like a Lonely Island song.
I don't know what that is.
The Lonely Island was just like, I could see them doing this, of just going to a practice and then writing a rap song about it. It sounded just like Andy Samberg and those guys. So, it was kind of funny. I was laughing because I was like, oh my gosh, the Lonely Island was at the Packers practice. But anyways, I've mentioned this a long time ago as a recommendation for a movie, but Hot Rod.
Okay.
With Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island crew.
Gotcha.
Definitely checked it out. It's a comedy, obviously, with Andy Samberg and whatnot. But anyways, my thoughts on training camp so far. So, between the Bears and the Packers, it's like a tale of two different teams, right? Because with the Packers, you kind of see exactly what you want to see in a lot of ways, is that it's Like, the defense is constantly pressing the offense. They're all over them. But at the same time, the offense is answering, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a one-sided affair between, like, that the defense is just absolutely dominant and the offense can't do anything against it. You're seeing what you want, where it's like both sides are putting up their battles and fighting hard.
Sure.
Which is great to see. Because then, like I said, the Bears camp. So, what was it that Caleb Williams is the greatest quarterback in a very, very long time to come into the league because of
definitely.
the amount of interceptions he hasn't thrown last year?
Correct, yeah. Like 0 ever or something.
Hasn't he at least like almost doubled the amount that he threw in the whole season last year in this game?
You're going to get me started.
I don't know, pretty close to that. But, yeah. So it's just kind of funny. Then you like literally the Bears had to shut down their public practice because they sucked so much. I don't know, man. It's just hilarious because you know what I'm talking about. It's just the most Bears thing ever. Is that they're bragging about how they won the offseason, and then once they get to training camp, it's nothing good. There's like some defensive highlights, but is that really defensive highlights, or is that the offense that's just trash? Like, they don't know what they're doing. Oh, man. It's great. Anyways, I'm coming up on my 3 minutes.
Yeah, not being able to even make it this far in is pretty bad. Usually the off-season champs thing will at least carry you to week 1. You know, I mean, Justin Fields used to put on a show in the preseason and training camp. He looked good, and there would be some mistakes here and there, but I just... It seems impossible that Caleb could be a worse story than Justin Fields, but so far it has been. Year 1 was a travesty, and everybody gave him a pass because, well, somebody got fired, so it's not his fault. Like, okay, whatever. I guess we can just ignore all the bad stuff because of that. Now you look at training camp, and it is as bad of a training camp as I've seen anybody have. And it's like, well, you know, you can't overreact to training camp. And is it Dan Orlovsky or whoever is like, well, training camp is for mistakes. It's like, it's embarrassing that you don't even understand the purpose of that saying, like the spirit of that saying. You know what I mean? It's for you to try things. It's not a time for you to deliberately miss a net. That doesn't apply to that, dum-dum. But yeah, it is quite funny. Again, the Bears might actually be good. They might be a 10-win team. Caleb Williams might be a good quarterback. All these things are true. I'm not saying that it's impossible. But with every day that goes by that these things continue, it becomes less likely. It would be more shocking or improbable for those things to actually materialize.
Hi there. Someone was called in saying the Packers need to be more transparent. Goody needs to do a better job and show his cards or their hands. I disagree. I like how they do that.
Yeah.
Also, too, could you possibly send me that guy's phone number? I got a poker game card that goes every Friday night, and I would love to have him in our group. All right, thank you. By the way, I'm pretty excited about Lucas Van Ness. I think that's a big key.
Yeah, man.
If he actually can live up to his first-round billing, look out for that defense. You got Gary and Van Ness coming from both sides. Look out. That's it. Have a great day.
Yeah, I'm not going to give out his phone number. I know it was a joke, but no, I agree. And it's what I had said at the time is I understand that you're going to catch a lot of crap for that, but that's just part of it. And you got to just be willing to eat crap for the sake of just doing the right thing, which in this case, doing the right thing is not giving away everything. You know, not just it is what it is, man. Not everybody needs to know everything. And we as fans and media and everything else, we just got to freaking get over it and understand that that's just the way it goes. But yeah, man, Van Ness, I mean, of all the guys we desperately need to take a big jump, Van Ness is very high on that list. He might be the highest, depending on what you mean by jump. I mean, Jordan Love wouldn't so much be a jump as a get back or get right. But yeah, Van Ness would be about at the top of that list, I think. And again, there's no guarantees, but we're just going based on statistics here, right? It's just, it becomes more probable that what we want to happen is going to happen. And every day that goes by that it looks like that gives me a little bit more confidence each time. So man, would that be fantastic. I mean, I'm a Rashawn fan. I like Rashawn. I hope he can get back to being a premier pass rusher and all that, but I would not be mad if Van Ness is our top pass rusher from now on, with Rashawn kind of being our number 2. I mean, I think that would be ideal, fantastic, glorious. I'd be very excited about that. Getting ahead of myself, obviously, but I'm just saying, I would be very happy. Let's take our final break. We'll come back with Drew in Green Bay.
Hey Ryan, it's Drew from Green Bay.
Yo.
Family night just happened. It was a lot of fun to watch. We're lucky as Green Bay fans to have something like that, which I think we're the only team that has anything close. So 60,000 fans showed up, and that's pretty incredible. The fireworks after were stellar.
They're always good.
But
Real
during
good.
the actual practice, one guy that I thought stood out a lot that maybe a lot of people wouldn't recognize is Brinson. I thought he was just beating guys regularly on the interior. And so, I do like Stackhouse, but I'm kind of wondering if part of the reason Stackhouse gets a lot of attention and Brinson doesn't get much is because he's the undrafted free agent, underdog kind of guy.
Could be.
And, but Brinson was taken higher, and that's probably for a reason. So I'm, I really liked what I saw out of Brinson. There's obviously other guys like Omar Brown got 3 interceptions and showing good hands. Not only do you have to be in the right place, but you have to actually catch them. We saw some other guys get opportunities and they made plays, but they didn't necessarily catch them. Now Valentine, I think, didn't he get like 2 more picks or another pick? So Valentine was coming down with them, and he's just been great. And he looks like a starting caliber cornerback. So that was really good. But Omar Brown was pretty impressive. Anyways, I'm sure you'll have a lot to say on it too. So can't wait to hear that. But have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to discount Stackhouse. I think that what we're hearing is probably pretty legit. Maybe there's a little bit of extra this, that, or the other because, I mean, number one, I think going into it, a lot of people are wanting it to be true, so it's kind of a self-fulfilling kind of a deal or whatever. But, I mean, you have to make the plays. I don't think people are outright lying about it, obviously. So I do think he's doing a good job. What that materializes in, what that actually means, I guess I don't really know. But as far as Baron Sorrell, I definitely have heard some positive notes about Baron Sorrell up to this point, for sure. So I don't know if it's been 100% underreported or not. Maybe. I mean, again, I'm not there, but I'm excited about both those guys. I think there's been some pretty positive reports. I think they're both pretty well down the list enough that I don't know how much they're going to get into the rotation. I think it's possible you could see Baron Sorrell maybe being the number 4 guy. Obviously, you got Gary and Van Ness number 1. It's kind of a question after that. Where is Kingsley at this point? Do they still have him high up, or is he kind of going down? I think Brenton Cox, for me, should be number 3. After that, I really like Aaron Mosby, but I don't know if the Packers have him quite that high. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like Gary, Van Ness, Cox, and Sorrell, followed by Inigbare and Mosby. But we'll have to see how that shakes out. I think my preference would be Gary, Van Ness, Cox, Sorrell, Mosby, and then whoever after that, if it's Kingsley or whatever. And I do hope Kingsley can take a step in this defense. I don't know, how much I trust that, I guess.
Hey Ryan, it's Drew from Green Bay.
Yo.
Just to give some my thoughts about the Amika Parsons potential trade. Yeah, I think it's interesting because if you look at Isaiah Simmons and even Oliver, in my mind, those kinds of players are a similar body type to Parsons. I think Parsons is a little heavier, but they're all kind of seen as like undersized pass rush hybrids.
Sure.
And so I do see, Simmons is like a poor man's Parsons at this point. So if we were interested in Simmons, would we not be interested in Parsons? So I think that shows that obviously we would have interest. It's just, would we be willing to pay that amount? And, or whatever it would take to get him. I don't think that we'll go and get him, but pass rusher is like the one position that the Packers have continually gone out in free agency and gone outside the building to bring in, was Darius Smith, Preston Smith, I think some others, and they draft them really highly too, so they covet the position really highly. So with Gary and all that. So if Parsons is available for a reasonable price, I'm sure they won't pass it up, and I'm sure they'll be inquiring. But for now, I'm gonna count against that. I think the price will be too high. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, and it's hard to compare the two. I mean, one is a low price, high upside flyer that is probably sticking to inside linebacker. One guy is clearly a pure pass rusher at this point that is extremely expensive. But are they interested? I would say everybody's interested in him. He's one of the best, if not the best. Probably we'll stick with one of the best pass rushers in football. So, yeah, I'm sure there's interest. But again, I'm sure, I shouldn't say sure. I'm guessing he's sticking with Dallas, and if not, it's unlikely we get him. But I'd be over the moon, and I'd be surprised if the Packers had no interest. I would also be surprised if they had the most interest of anybody. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep an eye on it, just like we did with, or have been with Hendrickson, and we're with Watt and Garrett and Crosby and all those guys. I expect it to go similarly to the rest of those, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Ryan, how are you, man? Kyle
Good.
from Madison.
What's up?
Well, I'm actually in Central Asia right now, believe it or not.
Heck yeah, dude.
I'm in the country of Kazakhstan.
Saw some
My
of the
wife's
pictures
from there, so visiting here for the first time. Let me tell you, it's quite the eye opener. Beautiful place, beautiful place. I feel like I'm in an alien world, though. But in this alien world, there is a freaking Packers supporters club.
That's awesome.
In the Central Asian country of Kazakhstan, in Astana, the capital, there's a huge Green Bay Packers supporters club.
So cool.
Even on the complete opposite side of the earth, our favorite team is well represented. So, and they're freaking talking about family night highlights. Like, are you kidding me?
That's awesome.
Oh, they're going over family night highlights like it's the Zapruder film on the other side of the earth. So, there you go. But I've been listening to your podcast on these like 20-hour flights. I saved up a bunch of them, and
nice,
really good content. And I just can't help but think that in the next 3 to 4 months, we are going to have so many questions probably answered.
Yeah,
that is going to determine our favorite team's fate for the next long time, probably.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, does Lucas Van Ness become a guy? Is Jordan Love, which direction does he go? Does he go back to Supernova, or is he not who we thought he was? There's so many things that are going to really determine what happens with this team. And I think this is just really a season where it kind of has to be informative.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's not like a lot of gray area. It doesn't feel like going into it, like as far as where we're going to be at the end of the season. Like, we're going to learn a lot. At least that's how I've been thinking about it. Because a lot of these questions, like, they have to be answered, or at least I don't know. Like, we're going to get resolution on some of this stuff, and I'm kind of nervous about it, but I'm excited for the new season, and man, it's just great seeing the images of Lambeau sold out, for the family night. I'm actually taking my nephew to the Seahawks preseason game this year, so
cool.
I've never been to a preseason game, so I'm kind of looking forward to
either.
being able to just kind of hang out in the stadium without the pressure of having a heart attack every third down, when it's a season game. So
yeah,
you can just kind of kick back and take things in. And probably be a lot of Malik Willis going.
Got part 2, go.
Ryan, what's up, man? Kyle from Madison. Hey, so I called yesterday, and one of the points I was making was how it feels like this year has the potential to kind of reveal quite a bit of the mysteries up to this point. I just want to expand on it a little bit because I was rewatching some of the family night highlights, which I know you got to be kind of careful with this because it just is ultimately kind of nothing, but it's also there's some clues there. There's some tantalizing little nuggets, but it's still technically nothing. But there was a lot of like, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy when I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
And in years past, when I'd get that sensation, we usually ended up being kind of a deep team that year. So I'm hoping there's some depth here. But as far as, what I was talking about with the mystery, a lot of the second and third year players this year, I think, are going to be, God, there's just so many like enigmas a little bit, like the tight ends. I think Kraft obviously is a guy, but like Musgrave. I think for rookies, I always go into the season kind of expecting nothing, and then anything extra you get is kind of a bonus. But there is just a ton of intriguing second and third year players on this team, and I'm just super excited to see, what hopefully they can become. I don't want to jinx it, but can Lucas Van Ness please be a player?
Right.
Because man, if he pops off, that just, oh my God, that just solves so many issues for us because even if he's not a blue chip guy, if he can get some production, I think with what they have with what appears to be an even more loaded safety room than what I even thought was already a loaded safety room. If this Brown guy, if he keeps playing like that, wow. But you figure with the pressure packages they have, at the safety and linebacker position, if Van Ness can be a guy, oh man, that'd just be fantastic. The thing I want to see this preseason, though, is I want to see Love's footwork. I want to see his mechanics. I think we both agree he got a little sloppy with the footwork last year. I'd like to see him plant that foot, fire that ball out this preseason. So other than just let's stay healthy, that's kind of my number one thing. So just get your thoughts on that, buddy. Talk to you later.
Well, Love is a phenomenal quarterback. He just is. And I really, in line with what you're saying, really believe that the only thing that can hold him back is himself. And, if he can kind of get that under control, he's always going to be kind of a wild man. It's part of his appeal. It's part of, in some way, what makes him a good and dangerous quarterback. But, it's kind of the issue we had with Rodgers where it's like, dude, you're awesome and we love you and you're very good at this. But if you could just rein it in a touch, this could be so much better. And, I know he's never going to be the most accurate, like Mahomes is not, like Josh Allen is not. But at the same time, he could be more accurate. He can make better decisions. He can do all those things. And as much as I love the deep shots, and I know he's going to continue to do it, and there's going to be success with it and all that stuff, if we can kind of mix and match a little bit with partially that and partially just good football, going to the right guy, it might be short, intermediate, whatever, just working our way down the field, making the right decisions. Trust Matt LaFleur, trust the coaching, trust the footwork. He trusts himself, and that's great. But on some level, you gotta trust your coaching a little bit. And I think if he can do that, this thing can kind of go to new heights. So, all right, I'm going to leave it at that. We got probably enough calls for tomorrow. We got 9 left, but it would be better if you guys could get some calls in and keep them coming. But I appreciate you guys. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Training camp is back upon us, so we'll be going through those goodies. But you guys have a great night. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.